the entities, but also the relationships between them. So we have information about people, but we also have information about the relationships between those people. Whether they're married or whether they work together, that sort of thing.
So not only the hierarchy of the objects that are in the database, but also how they are linked together.
Exactly.
So that kind of reminds me of the knowledge graph, something that I have heard about recently. Is there a relationship between the knowledge graph and Freebase?
Yes, absolutely. So Freebase is one of the sources that Google uses to build its knowledge graph. And I think we have a video here to explain a little bit more about the knowledge graph.
Okay, let's take a look at the video.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Google could understand that the words that you use when you're doing a search, well, they aren't just words. They refer to real things in the world. That a building is a building, and an animal is an animal, and that they're not just random strings of characters. If we can understand that those words are talking about those real-world things, then we could do a better job of getting you just the content that you want off the web.
The way Google is trying to build information about real-world connections is by building a knowledge graph. The knowledge graph is about collecting information about objects in the real world. The object could be a person, could be a book, could be a movie, and many other types of things. For example, for a famous person, we collect relevant data about them, such as their date of birth or how tall they are. We can also connect that person to closely related objects in the knowledge graph.
Let's say you're interested in Renaissance painters, or how about how many women have won the Nobel Prize? By understanding the relationships between things, be it between painters in the Renaissance or women in the Nobel Prize, Google can do a better job of understanding what it is exactly you're searching for.
One of the first features we are going to introduce, which applies the knowledge graph, is a panel next to the web results.
When you have a question to answer, others may have come to Google already to search for the same thing. Google can jumpstart your research process by combining the information that others found useful with the information in the knowledge graph.
All of the collective human wisdom that comes through our search engine, what people are searching for, tells us what are the interesting things to put in our database.
Take Leonardo da Vinci. Let's say you wanted to learn about the most important Renaissance painters. You might search for Leonardo da Vinci because he's the only Renaissance painter you know about. Now, you'll see information right in the search results that helps you explore the broader topic of Renaissance painters. You'll see some of the most famous paintings from that era, like the Mona Lisa, and discover other painters of that time, like Michelangelo and Raphael.
We're in the early phases of moving from being an information engine to becoming a knowledge engine, and these enhancements are one step in that direction.
As we grow the knowledge graph and make it larger and richer, we're really excited at the opportunity we have to understand more of the user's queries, to understand more about the information that's out there on the web, and intelligently connect the two to each other.
Great. So looks like search already uses that information. And, thinking about Freebase, I was actually an artificial intelligence major in college. And I remember learning about the project to replicate common sense called Cyc.
Yes.
So is Freebase, is that the goal of Freebase? Like, what was the actual original goal and where is it going?
So Freebase and Cyc are both knowledge bases about real-world things. They have a couple differences, though. Freebase is aiming to make it easy for developers to access these facts about real-world things, whereas Cyc is aiming to model common sense knowledge about the world and let AI researchers and developers program with that sort of intuitive real-world knowledge. So it's a little bit different in scope. Freebase is also built up by an open community, like I said before, so anyone can contribute. Cyc was designed by Scicorp, and they've designed most of the schema and the objects in their database.
I see. So it sounds like Freebase has the objects, entities, the relationships, where Cyc is also focused on the assertions based on the knowledge that they have accumulated in their system.
Yeah, there's a lot more rules in Cyc.
I see. Cool.
So you mentioned that Freebase is open community and stuff, and people can contribute. What does that involve? How are they, contributing to it?
So it's very easy. It's a lot like the Wikipedia model, where anyone can jump in and contribute as little as one fact or as much as a whole domain of facts with all the schema and everything. So anyone with a Google account can register, can log into Freebase. They can go to any topic, any one of the 23 million topics in Freebase. They can add facts, they can change facts. It's like a wiki, so you can see a history of which facts have been changed. And then they can build their own schema, and there's a way that those schemas can get promoted so that they become common schema that everyone uses.
Nice. And, you were talking about the schema, relationships, entities. Now, this is an API show.
Yes.
So is there an API that I can use? And then additionally, I heard that you can actually get access to the raw data.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So Freebase is a big graph database. Everything is stored in the graph. So you can use our APIs to query all of those things, the schema, the topics, even the users, and all that sort of stuff. So we have free APIs that